Welcome to another video in the series Learnings from the Newspaper. In this video, we will look at some of the risks associated with acquisitions and what to bear in mind when you are thinking of acquisitions. So this article that I've chosen is from Business Standard dated 12th February 2018. The article reads, Mindtree presses pause button on further acquisitions. So Mindtree is an IT service provider company, and based on its experiences, it has now decided to put a pause button on further acquisitions. So what have been their experiences? That is what we will cover in this article. So further it says, the firm plans to focus on digital business and build solution capabilities, says the CEO. So let us proceed with the article. So mid-size IT services company Mindtree has decided to pause its inorganic growth. So what is inorganic growth? So at a high level, there are two types of growths that are pursued by the companies. First is organic, second is inorganic. Organic growth is the process of business expansion by increasing the customer base. So you have a business and you try to acquire more customers through your sales efforts, bringing in new business and so on. Or you could be doing a new product development. So you are producing a new product by your own efforts and selling that in the market, thereby growing organically. Whereas inorganic growth is growing through mergers and acquisitions. So in inorganic growth, you find out a company which is having a product which you think is going to be generating a lot of money and you decide to buy it. And thereby the profit that company generates will be your profit. So that is the growth through inorganic path. So mid-size IT services company Mindtree has decided to pause its inorganic growth plans and instead turbocharge the organic route with a focus on building platforms and solutions capability, says Rostov Ravanan, CEO and Managing Director of the Bangalore-based company. So at this point in time, we are not looking at any further acquisitions, mainly because the world is uncertain right now. So he doesn't say the economy is uncertain, he says the world is uncertain right now. And we'll see why he is using these words. If you look at the last 2 to 3 months, all the stock markets are down owing to a combination of factors, he told Business Standard in an interview. Probably we will wait and watch at the moment and re-enter acquisition at a later stage once the macroeconomic environment settles down. So here he says that currently the macroeconomic environment is not encouraging enough for further acquisitions for Mindtree. The decision comes at a time when two of the recent acquisitions made by Mindtree, Bluefin and Magnet360, have not gone the way the company had initially expected, thus dragging the revenue and profitability in the short term. So basically, Mindtree acquired these two firms, Bluefin and Magnet360, but it has not gone the way they had expected, and because of which the revenue and profitability has been dragging in the short term. In the long term, it may again pick up, but at least in the short term, it is not very encouraging. These acquisitions partly did not fare well for Mindtree due to external factors. But the company's experience in M&A stands for mergers and acquisitions, space has not been great either. In 2010, the company had to shut down its smartphone business after acquiring the Indian unit of Kyocera Wireless in 2009. So it's saying that even before acquiring these two companies, Mindtree acquired Kyocera Wireless in 2009, and it did not work well in that case either. Further, what they say is, what we learned from the Kyocera acquisition is that you would be willing to take a risk but control the risk to an extent that if it goes wrong, it does not sink the company. So this is one of the greatest learnings in acquisition space, that whatever you are trying to acquire, make sure that if things go wrong, the acquisition does not sink your entire company. And earlier, the article already says that there are a lot of factors which are beyond your control sometimes, like the macroeconomic factor, there are political things which change the situation, and so on. So the learning is that you have to minimize the risk. Don't get into a deal which, if goes wrong after you acquire, sinks your entire company. Now, in case of Kyocera, originally Mindtree acquired Kyocera as it wanted to get into designing and selling mobile handsets. However, after acquisition, it realized that the new venture requires more capital investment than it could afford. So another learning in this case is that you have to understand the details of the company that you are acquiring very, very well. You have to know the in and out, what it will take to run the business, how much capital is required, etc. when you acquire a company. Now let's get on with the article. So recalling how the stock market reacted after the Kyocera acquisition went awry, Ravanan said the company's stock price had then lost 2/3 of its value from its peak. He noted Mindtree's stock price this time, that is after acquiring Bluefin and Magnet 360, fell only by 30 to 40% due to the delay in Bluefin and Magnet 360 integration. Now, integration of the acquired company with the parent company is another big challenge which you have to consider when thinking of acquisition. We were able to do risk management, which indicates that we have become more disciplined at it. So even if we take a risk and it does not work that way, it does not impact to the larger organization, he said. So basically, through acquisitions, Mindtree is now learning how to mitigate risk. In July 2015, Mindtree had acquired the UK-based Bluefin Solutions, a technology consultancy firm that specializes in SAP HANA, for £42.3 million, which is 4.23 billion rupees. The company had employed around 170 consultants at that time. So SAP is an ERP, one of the leaders in ERP, and this organization which Mindtree acquired specialized in SAP HANA and had around 170 consultants when they acquired it. However, after 1 year, the UK decided to walk away from the European Union. That is, Brexit happened, following a referendum, which had a large ramification in the UK-based businesses. So like I said earlier, when the CEO says the world is uncertain, so it's not just the economic environment, but the political environment here. So the political environment also impacts the business environment. So there are uncertainties which are sometimes beyond your control. And that's why it says earlier that lower your risk so that if things go wrong, it does not sink the company. Since Bluefin had a higher fixed cost as it was consulting heavy, it impacted the revenue and profitability. So again, because of the political uncertainty and political events, the acquisition went in the wrong direction and impacted the revenue and profitability. Besides, there was a cultural mismatch which also resulted in delay in integration. So, like I mentioned earlier, integration is a very, very important thing. And what you have to see when you are acquiring a company is how is its culture. So, culture mismatch can lead to a failure in organizational acquisition. So, if the culture is matching, it is much easier to integrate the acquired company to the parent company. So, these are some of the learnings when you are looking for acquisitions of organizations. I wouldn't say these are the only learnings, but these are some of the learnings which are very, very important to keep in mind.